Okay, so I'm gonna make some review videos. It's not gonna be all encompassing, but everything that we're studying all kind of falls under one big umbrella. Okay, so uh, start at the beginning of your notes. Notes are always the best resource. Remember, everything pretty much in some way comes back to this graph, right? I have up here the graph for expansion or demand pull inflation, know both of those names, but know what makes up the graph, right? This is price level, this is real GDP over here on the base, and we have aggregate supply and aggregate demand. Make sure you know that aggregate means, total or entire. Aggregate demand consists of consumption plus investment plus government spending plus net exports. So if any of those increase, right, aggregate demand shifts to the right. If any of those decrease, then aggregate demand shifts to the left. Okay. Know what happens to price level and real GDP. We should be well tuned for that after taking micro. So we're going to go through the determinants of each part of aggregate demand, consumption plus investment plus government spending plus net export. So consumption, remember, wealth can impact consumption. So if the stock market goes up in value, if my home appreciates in value, if my retirement account goes up in value, whatever it might be, right? The value of land appreciates, I'm more likely to buy stuff, okay? So if I had an autographed baseball card by Joe DiMaggio in perfect condition that I didn't know about, well, I don't at that moment have money in my pocket, but if I found out that was worth $10,000, I'm at least gonna buy a Lou Malnati's pizza and be excited about it, right? So wealth is our overall, total value of our assets. I may have as much money as Bill Gates in my pocket right now. I am not as wealthy as him, right? Because he's got 10 million shares of Microsoft. Expectations. If we expect things to be good, right? If we expect to keep our job, if we expect to have long-term income coming, we're more likely to buy things like cars, appliances, homes. Homes would be under investment. If we're feeling good about things, we're more likely to consume. Debt, we want it to be low, right? So this is a big problem for younger people with high student loan debt, credit card debt, mortgage debt are the three biggest types, right? So once you pay off debt, you're more likely to buy stuff. Interest rates, we want them to be low. We want to buy cars and we want to buy appliances when interest rates are low. Okay, so we're not paying as much out. And then taxes, again, we want these to be low. And this is income tax as opposed to corporate taxes, which impact investment. That's important. Income and sales tax affect consumption. Corporate taxes affect investment. Consumption is all the things, goods and services that we purchase new, with the exception of new homes, goes under investment. Okay, and remember, it has to be newly produced. It can't be used goods. So things that, used cars are not part of consumption. Investment, remember, investment is business purchases. Okay, tractors, trucks, new buildings, new computer technology for an office, even new office furniture. New homes, as we mentioned, and then unsold inventories go under investment. So at the end of the year, whatever Walmart and Jewel and Walgreens didn't sell, because it was produced, it has to be part of GDP, and we can't put it under consumption because nobody bought it, so that goes under investment, okay? Don't worry about it does get changed. Like when people buy it January 15th, that's why there's a little bit of a delay in reporting GDP at the end of the year. Investments, we want interest rates to be low, again, for new homes, new buildings, buying a tractor, truck, etc. We want corporate taxes to be low, okay? Key to supply side economics. Business expectations need to be good, right? We want to, for investing, we want to get money back on an investment. And then new technology is going to lead to investment because you don't want to be left behind, right? If there's something new out, new way of shipping, new way of communicating, etc., you kind of need to invest in that. And then net exports. Remember, it's exports minus imports, okay? Exports are things that are produced here, that are sold somewhere else. That's a positive. Imports are things made somewhere else and purchased here. That's a negative to our GDP. And that's determined by strength of our currency, which we want to be weak. That's one of the hardest things about this exam. You need to get in your head, right, that a weak currency is good for exports. Weak currency isn't necessarily good for the economy overall, but it is good for exports. And then we want global prosperity. We want other countries to be doing well. If there's a recession in Europe, that's going to hurt net exports and hurt GDP. So if any of these increase, aggregate demand is going to increase. I left out government spending because you should now know government spending is just the decision by the government. So expansionary fiscal policy is going to lead to an increase in aggregate demand. That's going to increase government spending. Contractionary fiscal policy will lead to a decrease in aggregate demand. All right, so those are consumption, investment, government spending, net exports in a little less than 8 minutes. Make sure that you know that that's what aggregate demand consists of. Okay, if these increase, aggregate demand shifts to the right. If they decrease, aggregate demand shifts to the left. The best thing to happen, also know your numbers: consumption 70%, investment about 15, government spending about 18, and net exports about -3. But it's in general considered the best thing, healthiest thing for the economy if investment is good. And the reason for that is that's going to lead to more jobs. Also, investment not only helps aggregate demand, it's the only one of these that's going to also help aggregate supply. So it's a double bonus, okay? It's a two-way player, all right? Okay. 5 seconds left. I hope everybody's doing good. I don't think we're gonna have school tomorrow, but you never know.